Chosen one, if you are hearing this message now, understand this first. Nothing about this moment is accidental. You were not drawn here by curiosity alone, and you were not simply passing time. This message reached you because your spirit is prepared to receive it. Timing matters in the spiritual realm, and messages of this nature do not arrive early or late. They arrive precisely when awareness. Fear clouds discernment. Fear weakens trust. This message is meant to prepare you. Preparation is different from panic. Panic scatters the mind. Preparation centers it. And right now, preparation is essential, because something significant is approaching closer than most people realize. When the world hears the word doomsday, it imagines destruction, chaos, and endings. But God's language is different. In His language, what feels like an ending is often an explosion. What looks like collapse is often correction. What appears to be loss is frequently alignment. The doomsday that is approaching is not primarily physical, it is spiritual. It is the end of illusion, the end of deception, and the end of pretending that broken systems can sustain what they were never designed to hold. You may already sense this shift. Even if you cannot explain it, something within you feels alert, not anxious, aware. Conversations feel different. News feels. Energy in rooms changes faster than before. People seem more reactive, more polarized, more unstable. Meanwhile, you feel quieter, more observant, more withdrawn. This is not disengagement. It is discernment activating. God often prepares His chosen ones long before events unfold publicly. He sharpens awareness in private so that when pressure, they were not meant to break you, they were meant to steady you. This is why you must listen carefully. Not everything coming will be loud. Not every warning will come through headlines. Some preparation happens in silence, through subtle adjustments in perception, priorities, and posture. God is not calling you to hoard, hide, or panic. He is calling. Reaction is emotional. Response is discerning. Reaction seeks control. Response seeks alignment. In the days ahead, clarity will matter more than speed. Calm will matter more than force. Obedience will matter more than opinion. You may notice that your tolerance for chaos has already decreased. You step back instead of engaging. You observe instead of arguing. You pray instead of reacting. This is not weakness. It is preparation. God does not prepare His chosen ones to survive in fear, but to stand steady while others are overwhelmed. The nearness of doomsday does not mean destruction is unavoidable. It means separation is inevitable. Truth will rise. Falsehood will collapse. And those who are prepared will not be surprised. This message is not meant for everyone. Many will dismiss it. Some will mock it. Others will misunderstand it. Let them. You were not called to convince. You were called to prepare. Remain calm. Remain alert. Remain aligned. What is coming does not need your fear, it needs your readiness. Chosen one, one of the clearest confirmations that you are being prepared is this. You feel the shift long before it becomes obvious to others. While many continue life as usual, distracted by routine, entertainment, and surface-level concerns, something inside you sense that the atmosphere has changed, even if the structure of the world appears the same. This awareness does not come from news, trends, or external influence. It comes from alignment. When your spirit is tuned to God, you begin to perceive movement in the unseen before it manifests in the visible. This is why you feel restless in environments that once felt normal. Conversations feel hollow. Distractions feel exhausting. You are not becoming antisocial, you are becoming selective. Others may accuse you of overthinking or being negative. They may say, nothing is happening, because for them, nothing is. Their awareness remains external. Yours has shifted inward. You are no longer satisfied with appearances. You want truth, depth, stability, And that desire signals preparation at work. This shift also explains why your emotional responses have changed. You may feel less reactive, less interested in drama. Chaos no longer excites or entertains you. It drains you. Your nervous system is recalibrating. God is training you to remain steady under pressure, not stimulated by noise. You may also feel a growing pull toward solitude. Not isolation, but intentional quiet. Silence becomes restorative rather than uncomfortable. This is where clarity forms. The more sensitive your awareness becomes, the less noise you can tolerate. At the same time, you may notice moments of unexplained heaviness, fatigue that sleep does not fix, emotional weight without a clear source. This is not weakness. It is spiritual sensitivity. You are feeling collective pressure, sensing shifts in the atmosphere that others are not. This is also why you feel less certain about paths that once seemed secure. Plans feel temporary. Structures feel unstable. Not because you are failing, but because God is loosening your dependence on systems that cannot support what is coming. He is teaching you to anchor your confidence in Him rather than predictability. Those who are not prepared will cling tighter to distraction as pressure increases. When the shift becomes undeniable, you will not be shocked. You will already be steady. If you feel this change while others do not doubt yourself. Awareness always comes before understanding, and preparation always begins long before impact. Chosen one. To understand what is approaching, you must first unlearn what the world has taught you to fear. The word doomsday has been distorted into an image of instant destruction, global collapse, and hopeless endings. But God does not operate through chaos without purpose. In His language, doomsday is not about annihilation, it is about revelation. It is the moment when what has been hidden can no longer remain concealed. Throughout Scripture, judgment is not sudden rage, it is exposure. Light does not attack darkness, it reveals it. And when something is revealed, it loses its power to deceive. This is why the current season feels intense. Lies are surfacing. Systems that relied on illusion are beginning to crack. What you are sensing is not the end of the world, but the end of pretending that what is broken can continue unchanged. This is also why reactions are becoming extreme. When deception is challenged, those invested in it panic. Fear rises not because destruction is near, but because control is slipping. People cling to false security, false identities, and false narratives because they have not prepared for truth. Revelation feels like threat to those who built their lives on illusion. For the chosen ones, however, revelation feels sobering rather than terrifying. You are not surprised by exposure. You have already been stripped privately. God dealt with your pride, illusions, and attachments long before this moment. What feels unbearable to others feels familiar to you. You have already learned how to stand when certainty collapses. Biblically, this pattern repeats. Joseph interpreted famine before it arrived. Daniel discerned shifts in power while kingdoms still celebrated. Preparation never looks urgent until it is too late. God warns quietly before He moves publicly. Doomsday, then, is a separating line. Not between nations, but between awareness and denial. Those anchored in truth will adapt. Those anchored in illusion will resist. The pressure you set. This is why fear is not your response. You are not called to panic, stockpile, or spread alarm. You are called to remain grounded. Truth does not rush. Truth stands. Your role is not to predict outcomes, but to stay aligned as revelation unfolds. When the world begins to react, your calm will confuse people. Let it. Calm is not ignorant. You know that God does not remove without replacing, nor reveal without purpose. Doomsday is nearer than people think, but not in the way they imagine. What is ending is deception. What is beginning is clarity. And those who are prepared will not be shaken by what is revealed. Chosen one. It is natural to ask why you are aware of these things, while others remain asleep. The answer is not that you are better, stronger, or more deserving. It is that you were willing, often without realizing it, to be shaped early, privately, and deeply. God does not choose based on comfort. He chooses based on capacity. Long before this moment, you were placed in situations that required endurance. You faced confusion when others found clarity. You experienced delay when others moved quickly. You endured isolation when others were surrounded by support. At the time, it felt unfair, even cruel. But now you were being trained to stand without reassurance. While others learned to depend on systems, people, or predictable outcomes, you learned to depend on God. When familiar structures failed you, something stronger had to form inside. Discernment was forged through disappointment. Faith was strengthened through uncertainty. Emotional maturity developed where validation was absent. God often refines his chosen ones away from attention. No applause for your obedience. Many of your hardest lessons happened in silence, where quitting would have been easy and no one would have blamed you. But you stayed. That willingness mattered more than talent or confidence. This early refinement also explains why you recognize instability now. You have lived through internal collapse and survived it. You know what it feels like when something false can no longer hold. So when you sense cracks in the world, you do not panic. You recognize the pattern. You understand that breakdown precedes rebuilding. You were also taught restraint. You learned when to speak and when to remain silent. You learned that not every truth needs a platform. Not every insight needs an audience. This discipline is critical now. God does not prepare his chosen ones to shout warnings, but to model stability. Your life becomes the message. You may feel like your progress was slower than others, like opportunities passed you by, like recognition arrived late or not at all. But what you gained cannot be taken away. You gained depth. You gained discernment. You gained inner authority. These are not learned quickly, and they cannot be imitated. This moment requires people who can hold pressure without collapsing into fear or arrogance. People who can remain calm without becoming passive. People who can discern without condemning. That is why you were prepared early. Not to escape what is coming, but to stand steady within it. God chose you for this time because you are not driven by panic, validation, or control. You are driven by alignment. And alignment is what will matter most as revelation continues. Chosen one, as pressure increases, the gap between the unprepared and the chosen becomes impossible to ignore. This difference is not about knowledge, status, or belief. It is about when stability is challenged, people reveal what they are anchored to. Some react, others discern. This distinction will define the coming season. The unprepared respond emotionally. Fear drives their decisions. They move quickly, speak loudly, and seek constant reassurance. When uncertainty rises, they look outward for someone to blame or something to cling to. Noise becomes their coping mechanism. You will notice how easily panic spreads among them. One headline becomes many fears, one disruption becomes catastrophe. They react before they process, and because of this, they exhaust themselves emotionally. Their energy is scattered, their thinking clouded, their actions inconsistent. They are not evil or weak, they are simply unanchored. The chosen, however, respond differently. Where others feel urgency, you feel the need for clarity. You do not deny reality, but you do not dramatize it either. Your nervous system remains regulated because your foundation is internal, not external. This does not mean you feel nothing. You feel deeply, but you do not allow emotion to dictate behavior. You understand that reaction rarely leads to wisdom. Discernment requires space, silence, timing. So while others argue, while others demand answers, you wait for alignment. Another key difference is responsibility. The unprepared often look for rescue, someone to save them, fix things, or restore comfort. The chosen understand stewardship. You do not assume control, but you do assume responsibility for your inner state. You know that calm is not optional, it is necessary. Your peace becomes an anchor, not just for yourself, but for those who will later look to you. You may also notice that people begin to respond to you differently. In moments of chaos, they look to you for reassurance, even if they cannot explain why. Your presence alone creates stability. This is not authority you demand, it is authority you embody. The chosen are not louder, they are clearer, not faster, more precise, not forceful, more grounded. This difference will become increasingly visible. Simply remain aligned. In times of separation, your role is not to react, but to stand. Chosen one. Preparation in this season will not look dramatic. It will not be loud, public, or performative. True preparation is quiet, internal, and consistent. While many imagine preparation as gathering information, resources, or strategies, God is focused on something deeper, your inner stability. Because what is coming will not test what you have, it will test who you are. True preparation begins with stillness. Not inactivity, but inner quiet. The ability to remain centered while the world accelerates. When everything around you is pulling for reaction, stillness allows discernment to speak. This is why you are being drawn away from constant stimulation. Noise weakens clarity. Stillness strengthens it. Emotional discipline is another essential part of preparation. This does not mean suppressing emotion, it means regulating it. You learn to feel without being flooded, to respond without being provoked. When fear appears, you observe it instead of obeying it. When anger arises, you pause instead of projecting it. This emotional mastery will protect you more than information ever could. Preparation also involves obedience in small, unseen ways. God rarely prepares his chosen ones through grand instructions. He does it through subtle nudges. Rest when you want to push, speak when you want to stay silent, walk away when ego wants to engage. These small obediences train your spirit to trust guidance rather than impulse. Detachment is another key element. Not detachment from people, but from control, outcomes, and approval. You stop needing certainty to move forward. You stop measuring progress by recognition. This detachment creates resilience. You are no longer easily shaken because your sense of security is not tied to external validation. Prayer, in this season, becomes less about asking and more about aligning. You are not trying to convince God to act. You are positioning yourself to hear. Prayer becomes a space of listening, recalibration, and surrender. This is where peace is reinforced daily. You may also feel called to simplify your life. Fewer commitments, fewer distractions, fewer emotional entanglements. Simplicity creates space for clarity. It allows you to respond when guidance comes, without resistance or overwhelm. True preparation is not urgent, it is steady. It does not announce itself, it reveals itself under pressure. And when the shift intensifies, those who prepared quietly will remain grounded while others scramble. If your preparation feels invisible, trust it. God does his deepest work where no one is watching. Chosen one. It is important to understand that what is approaching is not only an ending, but a transition. After the shift takes place, after exposure, separation, and clarification, something new begins to form. This is why preparation matters. Those who remain grounded during disruption will recognize opportunity where others see only loss. After the shift, Confusion gives way to clarity. The noise settles. Illusions lose their grip. What remains is simpler, more honest, and more aligned. People begin to see what they could not see before, not because truth suddenly appears, but because denial can no longer hold. In this season, wisdom will be more valuable than charisma, and stability will be more influential than force. You may notice that people begin to seek guidance quietly. Not publicly, not dramatically, but personally. They will ask questions they once dismissed. They will look for grounding rather than excitement. And they will be drawn to those who remained calm rather than reactive. This is where quiet leadership emerges. Leadership after the shift will not look like control. It will look like presence, listening, discernment, the ability to hold space without needing to dominate it. Those who survive the pressure without losing integrity will naturally become reference points for others. This is not a role you chase. It finds you. Community will also begin to form differently. Not around fear, identity, or performance, but around shared values and clarity. Smaller, more intentional, less noisy. These connections will feel restorative rather than draining. You will recognize alignment without effort. Purpose also deepens after the shift. Survival mode ends. Stewardship begins. You move from reacting to responding, from enduring to building. What was stripped away most importantly, peace becomes active. Not passive acceptance, but grounded confidence. You trust yourself because you trust God. You move forward without rushing. You engage without fear. You rest without guilt. What comes after the shift is not chaos, it is correction. Not collapse, but realignment. And those who prepared quietly will not only endure it, they will help stabilize what follows. Stay grounded. Stay chosen one. As this message comes to a close, remember this above all else. You were not warned so that you would be afraid, but so that you would be steady. Everything you have sensed, everything you have endured, and everything you have been quietly learning has led to this season. You are not late. You are not unprepared. You are positioned. The nearness of this shift does not mean destruction is inevitable. It means truth is unavoidable. What can no longer stand will fall away, and what remains will be real. You have already been trained for this. Your calm in the face of uncertainty is not accidental. It is evidence of alignment. While others search for certainty outside themselves, you have learned to anchor within. Do not underestimate the power of remaining grounded. In a world that reacts quickly and thinks shallowly, steadiness becomes rare and valuable. Your peace will speak louder than any word. Your discernment will guide more effectively than force or fear. You do not need to convince anyone. You only need to remain aligned. There may still be moments of doubt. You may question whether you are doing enough, seeing clearly, or preparing correctly. When this happens, return to stillness. Preparation is not about accumulation. It is about calibration. Each day you choose clarity over chaos, truth over comfort, and obedience over impulse. You reinforce your foundation. Remember that humility protects discernment. The moment awareness turns into superiority, alignment weakens. Stay teachable. Stay grateful. Stay aware of your humanity. You are not meant to rise above others. You are meant to stand firm so that stability exists when it is needed most. Some connections will fade, others will form. Let this happen naturally. Do not chase trust the quiet strength that has been built within you through unseen seasons. Above all, do not rush the moment. God does not operate in panic. He operates in precision. Continue walking steadily. Continue listening more than speaking. Continue choosing peace without apology. What is coming does not require fear. It requires readiness. and readiness, for you, is already present. Remain calm, remain aligned, stand ready,